Hey folks, it's Mr. Patrick back with another project inside of your Tinkers and Thinkers 2021 kit. Now this project is maybe the most complex and time-consuming of all the projects, but I find that often makes it the most rewarding, and that is the motorized gondola, right? Ever since we popped the lid, you knew this was coming, right? We're gonna make a gondola, all right? So step one, follow the instructions on this page. Again, you might have a yellow gondola template or a green one or a blue one. I got a red one in this kit, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut on all the solid lines and fold on all of the dotted lines. But before I get my scissors out, I'm going to do some of the decorating on here and make it look awesome. All right, here we go. All right, then I just need a little bit of tape or glue, and I'll have my gondola box, my gondola carriage. All right, I have finished decorating, folding up, taping or gluing my gondola car together. You can see it's a nice tidy little box. I even decided to cut the windows out. Super cute. Again, you can do it any way you want. Here's another one I made. But you'll see what we need to do next is add the little grabby arm on the top of our gondola. That's what's going to hang on to the motorized rope or string that's going to propel our gondola through the air. So get out your twisty tie, and we're going to make a little bend in it like that. And with a little piece of tape, we are going to tape this to the top of our car, our gondola car. All right? Trying to get it somewhere in the middle there so it looks sort of centered. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, and a couple other little bends or kinks in the top, and we're just about ready to hang this guy on our string. All right, so we've made our gondola car. Now, how do we motorize our whole gondola setup? Well, you know we're going to reuse our gearbox motor, and you know it's going to need a power pack. So make sure you've got these here. I've separated one of the leads so the circuit is broken. That way I can assemble it without it wiggling around on me. All right. Now, it's important to visualize how this is all going to work. Right. Your gondola is going to hang on the rope, and the rope is going to make a loop around and around and around, and that loop is going to be driven by this bad boy. So how is it going to work? You want to have the axle pointing up and down in a vertical orientation so that the bull wheel that we attach to it, kind of like a pulley, is going to rotate like this. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and orient it so that my wires are on the top. I want those to be out of the way, otherwise the gondola is going to snag on it every time it comes around. So go ahead and leave that up, and that should mean that there's a little bump underneath. Totally fine. All right. You're going to want to cut out the flange. Did you hang on to that? And tape it to your cup like so. All right. Now we've got a bull wheel, and that will attach to our motor like this. All right. Again, Wires are on top. Let's go ahead and zip tie this battery pack on the top. All right? Go ahead and get your zip tie and that satisfying zip sound when you zip tie something. All right, so we've got that zip tied on there. And of course, if you think this is in the way, you can go ahead and use your scissors and just chop off the extra. All right, so you got that. We'll attach our bull wheel to the base. And again, I'm orienting it like this because our thread is going to loop around this guy and suspend that direction. All right. So before I wire this up, I want to add one more component, and that is this clip. Now you can clip this clip to just about anything, but be aware that it's going to be one anchor in your gondola skyway. All right. There will be an anchor at the bottom with this motor that's going to drive the rope, and then you'll have another anchor that'll be elevated a little bit higher. That'll really just be a spindle for the rope to run around. So think a little bit about where you're going to clip this to. I recommend chair or table legs, or the edge of something skinny, like it could be a countertop. You could attach it to a little branch if you're doing it outdoors. Look around and think of what's about this width that I could attach it to. So for the purposes of my demo, I'm going to use a chair. Let's go try it out. All right, I found a spot to anchor my gondola. And here's what I've got so far: the battery pack, the motor, the flange, and the bull wheel. Again, the string is going to wrap around this bull wheel and head that way. All right, but I still got to attach this to the clip. All right, and the way I do that is with another zip tie. So I'm going to go ahead and thread it underneath this battery pack, maybe even through this little rubbery thing holding the motor in. And like that, I can now zip tie this to my binder clip. Okay, so far so good. Let's close the circuit again and see if this is going to be stable. Let's see what happens. Oh, there it goes. All right, we've got this end moving, and it seems to be rotating nice and smoothly. Let's go ahead and test it out on a rope to see that it's going to work. I've got my 12-foot length of string, and I'm just going to tie a single overhand knot here so that my rope becomes one big loop. All right? And if I go ahead and put this on here, I can see it looks like it's working. It's not grabbing as well as I'd like. So I'm going to go ahead and add a rubber band onto the bull wheel. Now your gondola track needs two anchors. One that's motorized with your gearbox motor, and the other one is perfectly stable. It's really just a spindle that the rope can travel freely around, and that your gondola can move past without getting stuck. So this is how we're going to do it. I start by taking one more of these large zip ties, and I'm going to go ahead and attach it here to a handy standing lamp that I've got. Now again, you could attach it to a stake in the ground or a tree if you're outdoors, or any other kind of table leg or chair. Just be aware that one side of your gondola, this anchor, should be a little bit higher up above the ground than your motorized anchor. And I would say no more than 45 degrees, but you certainly don't want it flat. It should be at a nice angle for it to work really well. And you can adjust that, play around with it until you get your gondola moving just right. So I've got my zip tie attached here, And then very simply, I am going to attach this paper clip to there. And I'm just going to show you, I'm going to bend it open like this. Boo, 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 boo. And I want a shape kind of like this to be hanging down. And I'm going to slide this other side through and bend it up. If you take a close look here, I'm just going to go ahead and trim off that excess. There we go. And what I've got left here is the zip tie with this hook here. All right. And that is going to be the anchor for the other side of my gondola skyway. All right. Now the tension is going to be key. We'll talk a little bit about that, but you want it to be tight enough that it's not going to come slipping off that hook, but not so tight that it's bending your paper clip. All right, so it's actually going to be pretty relaxed string. Once you've got both anchors in place, go ahead and get your string ready and hang your gondola on it. All right. Again, you may need to adjust the tension by moving one anchor further away or closer so it's just right. I also recommend making sure that this is as fixed as possible. If it wobbles up and down like mine is doing right now, you might encounter some issues, and all you need to do is tighten it up here with your zip tie. Wouldn't hurt to add a little extra tape too if you feel like it, just to make sure this isn't moving too much. Same with the other side. You want to have your paper clip be really stable. All right, this is working a little bit better. There's several factors that make for a successful gondola track, and one of them is tension. That you want just the right amount of tension on this string. In order to make that work really great, you could do a couple of things. You can adjust the length of this cord, or you can adjust the distance between the two anchors. And that's one of the reasons why I chose this chair and my standing lamp on the other side, because I'm able to adjust that tension ever so slightly. But you only need one movable end in order to do that. You can attach one to a tree. You can't move a tree. Well, if you have a stake in the ground that you can replace, that's another way to adjust the tension on your gondola track. Another thing that I find myself tinkering with is this flange. If you notice that your string is popping up on top of the flange, you can go ahead and add little tweaks to the shape of it to make sure that it's not climbing up over and getting stuck in the motor's mechanism. Just play with it a little bit.